Right, we're back in the camper again today, and we've got a few things to talk about and a little job to do. So let's talk about the weight of this van. Is it going to be a decent weight, or is it going to be overweight? We'll find out in a little bit. But before then, let's just talk about the build of this van. When I was building this van, there's kind of two main opposing things. One was I wanted the thing to be fully loaded. And the opposing thing to that is we needed it to be within weight and as light as possible. So what I tried to do was where I can build it as light as I can. But obviously in some places, which we'll have a look at in a minute, I've not built those in really such a light way. The fully loaded side of this comes from the fact that I wanted the van to be completely off grid. So the electrical system, extra cupboards and things like that are making this van heavier than what most other normal builds would be. And also I wanted to build it in the best kind of luxury kind of way that I could, rather than just some really lightweight basic looking panels and walls and things like that. I wanted to try and make the van kind of like a bit of a luxury spec. In a couple of videos time we'll do a full van tour and everything else, and hopefully you'll agree that I did kind of do this in the best kind of luxury way that I could. As soon as these cushion covers come, then we'll do a full van tour. Obviously we all know that the gross vehicle weight that we can have on these vehicles as they are plated is 3,500 kilos, 3.5 ton. That's including myself and fuel and water and everything else. So ideally what we'd like to do to save any upplating and things like that is keep within that weight. So let's have a quick look around the van and let's have a look kind of how I built some of the things, and the things that I built heavy and the things that I tried to build light. One of the first things actually which I've just been sat on for building in kind of a light way is this seating here. Because I wanted like a sofa arrangement rather than just a twin seat there with the seat belts and things like that going up. I wanted the sofa, so once this table's out of the way, this is a really nice little corner sofa. I've built this in a way which is kind of as probably as light as I could. This was built with just a wooden frame, and then these panels on the front, they're 5mm ply. So that is one of the examples of the things that I built pretty light. Even these top panels here, this is 12mm ply. The 12mm ply, which I used on these various walls around here, this per board is actually a few kilos lighter than the 15mm lightweight ply. So the panels themselves are actually overall lighter. The only downside to that is obviously on walls like this, where it's big and open, they tend to bow. So as I found out on this wall, for example, what I had to do was put some battens up the back and then put another layer of 5mm ply on it just to straighten that wall out. So overall, that wall didn't end up any lighter. But some of the other ones did, obviously. We've got this one here. And then the bulkhead itself, this is 12mm ply as well, so this is a bit lighter than normal. And then we've got the cupboards. These are kind of two opposing things. One is I built them out of 12mm ply to try and keep them a little bit lighter. But obviously, doing the backs like I did like this is adding an extra layer in as well, so it's adding weight to it. And the other thing that's obviously adding weight to it is I've got more cupboards than most people have. Because what I wanted to do was I wanted to use this space above the workshop. People don't normally use this space and they end the cupboard back here somewhere, but I've put an extra cupboard in because this space is pointless anyway above this worktop. So things like that are kind of adding to the weight of the vehicle. This ceiling, and doing the ceiling like this, especially using these panels that are already made that you can buy off the shelf, these panels are really not light at all, so they're quite heavy panels. And then obviously behind there we've got the 5mm ply as well that we've screwed to. So overall, the ceiling will actually be quite heavy. Making the wall panels like this, where they're double with the backlighting and things like that, that's obviously going to add weight to the vehicle. but I have kind of made those in the lightest way I could using the 5mm ply. Same at the back with how I've done all this. It looks good, but it's also added a little bit of weight to the vehicle. Probably the biggest weight I added to the vehicle inside was the kitchen unit. One, because I'm not really a carpenter and I don't really know how to build them, as you can see by obviously these white lines there and how straight my drawers are. So I probably made the carcasses in a much heavier way than what we should do. And also we have got the solid oak worktop. This is really not light at all. Although by the time I've cut all the holes out for all this sort of stuff, there wasn't a lot of worktop left. So although I've saved quite a bit of weight by cutting the holes out and things like that, it is considerably heavier than a normal camper van worktop. But I do like how it looks. Let me just interrupt this video a second, just to introduce today's sponsor. Sponsoring this video is Creality. We've got here their latest laser engraver stroke cutter. This is the Creality Falcon A1. As you can see, I'm just testing it out now on a little slate coaster, engraving a cute little cat onto it. As you can see there, it's just running through it. This particular engraver is great because it's fully enclosed and it's really designed for the beginner. And the quality is also good enough for the professional. Keep your eye out on my channel because there will be a full review of this coming up at some point soon. Also from Creality are things like their 3D printer, which there is things in this camper van that I've made on that printer, like this little coat hook here, and in the bathroom there we've got a little towel holder. Super useful for making your custom projects. The laser cutter I want to use for a few things in this camper as well. So check out the links below. I'll put links to the 3D printer video and also the two products as well, so you can check them out for yourself. And I must say, currently I'm having some great fun with that Falcon A1. We're going to do some good projects on that coming up later. Right, back to the video. Let's have a quick look outside. The single most biggest impact on the weight of the vehicle is most likely that roof rack there. Because that's made out of just unistrut, it's the standard weight unistrut as well. That is really heavy. Moving the individual pieces about as I built it told me that each individual length was actually quite heavy. I would guess at about 100 kilo for that roof rack. If I changed that for extruded aluminium or a custom built aluminium roof rack, we would be saving a lot of weight up there. That may be a job for later on. Obviously all the extra spotlights and things like that, and this front nudge bar, these are going to add a good bit of extra weight to the vehicle. The wheels, I never actually weighed these against the steel wheels, but these should be pretty similar, to be honest. They've got alloy wheels, which are lighter than the steel, but we've got more rubber, so they should probably balance out, kind of. Same with the spare wheel on the back, because normally you have one underneath, so having that there should be a pretty similar weight to what it was anyway. The only addition we've got is the ladder up the back, which is actually made out of aluminium, so that won't be that heavy. Just move these bins out of the way. One thing we can't see underneath, which will add considerable weight, not at this minute because they're empty, but we've got the water tanks. The freshwater tank, when it's full, is 92 litres, I think, if I remember properly. So you've got nearly 100 kilos of water. The waste tank is kind of irrelevant because as the waste tank fills, it's coming out of the freshwater tank. So it's just transferring the weight. So we've probably got, when we're full, about 100 kilos there with the water tank. In the back, although I built these as light as I could because this is a mixture of 12mm ply and 5mm ply, this will add weight, obviously boxing all this in, rather than just having the Victron equipment just on a board to the back. I tried to make it a bit nicer. This will obviously add weight to the vehicle. On top of that, obviously we've got quite a lot of Victron equipment and things like the lithium battery behind there, and the Multiplus 2 are quite heavy pieces of equipment. I've got a couple of bikes in the back. Obviously these are really heavy, but they're not part of the vehicle. And then I've got this shelving and stuff like that there. This won't add a lot of weight to the vehicle, but obviously it's still all there. So that's kind of some of the heavy bits that I've fitted and the lighter bits. So what I did a few weeks ago was I took this van down to a local scrapyard. They've got a weighbridge there. I put the van on the weighbridge. He didn't give me a weigh slip, but he let me take a photo of the display showing the weight of the vehicle, which we'll show in a minute. But before we do that, let me explain exactly how the vehicle was, so you can understand what we was weighing. Right, so what we had was obviously the vehicle itself. In the vehicle at the time, I had just over half a tank of water, so there was probably about 50 kilos of water. I had just over half a tank of fuel. All the cupboards were pretty much loaded as they are now, with things like jackets. I've got all sorts of stuff all in these cupboards. It's pretty much in the cupboards, everything that would be in the cupboards to go away, except maybe food and clothing. So depending on where you're going, how many people are going, how long for, and things like that, would determine the weight of obviously the food and the clothing and things like that. But they weren't in the vehicle. In the back of the van, in the garage area, I had all the tools and things like that that are already in there now, including that power pack and stuff like that. So there's quite a bit of weight already in there. And I just had one of the folding bikes delivered. So that was in the back of the van as well, in the box. That weighed about 25 kilos on its own. So that is probably a similar weight to what clothing and things like that would be. I myself wasn't in the van, so there was no driver, no passenger. So the weight I'm going to show you needs the driver and the passenger's weight added onto that as well. So this weight I'm going to show you, on top of that, we need to add on food, clothing, probably a little bit more luggage, not a lot. Myself, my partner's weight, and probably the cat's. And then we've got, if we want to fill up the water tank and fill up the fuel tank, we've got an extra half a tank of fuel to add on and half a tank of water. So if we said an extra 70 kilo for the fuel and the water, say an extra 200 kilos for myself, my partner, food and clothing. So that's about 270 kilos that we need to add on to this weight to probably give a total weight of what it would be when we're kind of packed up to go away. But that all depends on where we go, because like I said, we had a bike in the back as well. So what was the weight of the van? I'll put the photo up here, but the weight of the van, as I weighed it that day, was 3180 kilograms. As you can see, when I add on the extra bit of weights that we need to pack it up, like myself and things like that, it's going to be incredibly close, but we are still within the weight limit. But to be fair, with how it's built, how it's loaded, with all the extra cupboards and things like that, I don't think that weight's actually too bad. Although it might take a little bit of planning sometimes, because we're really floating around that gross weight. What I could do, obviously, is I could upplate it. I may do that in the future, especially if I want to fit extra solar and stuff like that. Obviously, to drive that, you need the C2 bit on your license. I'm a bit of a dinosaur, so I've got that by default. So license-wise, I'm perfectly fine driving it. I don't know how it will affect things like cost of ferries and stuff like that if we upplate it above the 3.5 ton. If anybody knows the answer to that, please comment down below, because I would like to know the negative effects of upplating. But for now, we'll leave it exactly as it is on the 3.5 ton, because we're within. But obviously, because the van is now fully loaded, there is one major downfall, and that is the suspension. Let's have a quick look. As you can see on the back, we have not got much of an arch gap at all. The back of the van has dropped right down. What we need to do is change these leaf springs for 2-leaf uprated springs. What we'll do in a second, I'm going to get changed first. When we have a look at the springs, I'll get underneath and I'll show you these ones now, because the ones that are on it are pretty much flat. They've got no curve in them at all. It's just flattened them out onto the bump stops. I am going to upgrade more of the suspension a bit later on, but my intention for today is just to put these double leaf springs on, just to raise the back up. Later on, what we'll do is we'll do the front and things like that, because what we might find is when it lifts the back up, we might be back high. What we might need to do is lift the front up a little bit just to level it back out. Right, so let me get changed and then let's have a look at the springs that we've got and have a look at the van, get the tape measure out and things like that, and see how to change these springs. Right, these are 2-leaf uprated leaf springs. I got these from eBay. I think it's Jones's Springs or something like that. I'll put a link in the description to the exact ones I bought. It's not an affiliate link or anything like that. But I'll put the ones to the exact ones I bought down below. But as you can see, these are double leaf. The standard springs that are on the vehicle, we'll have a look in a second, they're just 1 leaf. Looking at reviews and things like that of these seem to do a pretty good uplift. I think I'm expecting about 5 centimetres. If I grab this bit of wood here, let's throw this on the floor, and let's have a quick look underneath at how things are right now. Right, so if we have a look underneath now, they're actually they're bowing upwards rather than downwards. As you can see over there, that's sat right on the bump stop. These springs don't seem to be doing anything at all. That bump stop is quite worn. Over this side as well, it's also sat on the bump stop. And as you can see, those springs are just flat. And I think what's happened as well, because this bump stop on this side is more worn on the other one, this side seems to be sat slightly lower. I did notice before it was sat slightly lower, and the van is slightly wonky, but I did think that was my weight distribution. I will change both of those bump stops at a later date, but I haven't got any right now. First thing we need to do before we do anything is let me grab a tape measure and let's measure up what everything is stock. And I've got a bit of a pen and paper there ready. So what I've got is we've got all 4 there. And then I've done one for the double leaf springs. We'll do a measurement afterwards. And then for future modifications, we can refer back to this. So let's get this measured up. When you're measuring, whatever you do, don't measure from the floor like you see everybody else doing. Measure from the center of the wheel to the arch there, because if you measure from the floor, especially if you're doing long-term kind of things, there's so many other things that can affect that height. Even down to the amount of air you've got in the tyre is going to change that height there. So always measure from the center of your wheel to the arch. Right, that's all those measured up. There's my measurements from the center of the wheel to the wheel arch. You can see that this near side rear, this is 25 millimeters lower than the offside rear. I'm hoping it's because the van is literally down on the bump stops, and this side is quite a bit more worn than the other side. And I'm hoping that once I put the new springs on and it lifts it all up, it'll level the van back out. We'll see, won't we? Right, so I am going to get a trolley jack out. I'm going to lift the back of that van up. I'm going to find some axle stands as well. We'll jack it all up. I'll get that wheel off of that side, and then let's have a look how to change this spring. Right, wheels off, I've got access to everything. I've left the trolley jack in there because my axle stands aren't quite long enough to get up to there. But what I've done is I've put them at the back, and I've got like a big beam of wood underneath holding it up at the back end there. So if anything happened, it'd give me time to get out of the way. I've got no intention of sticking my head right underneath anywhere anyway. Not the best way of doing it. Personally, I would like to have bigger axle stands and axle stand it all up. But it is what it is, and I've got what I've got. What I've also done, just under here, look, is I've got a little bottle jack. That's holding up this, because I need to take the weight of this, so when I take this spring off, nothing's going to drop. Because what I also need to do, hard to see because of this sun, but the top of this shock here, I need to undo that as well, so I can push it all down out of the way to get the new spring in a bit easier. Right, so to get this spring off, what we need to do is we've got these U-bolts here. We've just got underneath, we've got 2 there, 2 on the other side. To remove those U-bolts, I need to cut this cable tie here. This is holding the handbrake cable. These U-bolts, they are a 22mm socket. So I'll take those off, and then at either end of the spring, I'm going to take these bits off here. These have got these star type. On the other side, it's a 24mm nut. For these here, you can just use like a 19mm socket. I have got the proper star type ones, so this is a 24mm, whatever one of those are called. And it's the same that side of the spring as well. And also the top of the shock, that's one of those star ones as well, 24mm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo all of this, and then that spring should just lift out. Right, it's all unbolted. One last thing to do. We need to take these U-bolts out here. And on top of the spring there's like a little plate. We need to get that off. Just see if I can prise it off here. We need to save that. Right, and now I should be able to lower this bottle jack a bit, and it should drop this and allow us to get the spring out. Hopefully. Just like that. One thing to note when we go to put the new ones in, it's got like a little knobble there in the middle, and that will sit in there. We need to make sure we place that back in that position when we put the new spring in. And also either end of the spring, it's got a big bush that end and a smaller bush that end. The big bush goes towards the front of the vehicle. So if I look in here, look, we've got the big bush at the front. The smaller bush is at the back. And then underneath, look, we've got like a little knobble that goes into that bit that was there. It does look to me that this plate that we had on here in the middle, that won't be going on the new one because I've got a bolt that sticks out there, so that doesn't go over it. So I think all we have to make sure is on the bottom that little knobbly bit there locates in the right place. Right, so I'm going to get this spring back in now. What I might do actually to give myself a little bit more room is I might take this bottle jack out completely, so this comes down even further, and then that'll give me a bit more room to manoeuvre to get this spring in. So I'm going to get this back in, and I'll see you back in a second. There we are, that's the new spring in. I'm not going to lie, that was a bit of a pain in the arse to get in. It's trying to find the order of which one to do first, either that end, or this middle bit. What I found was it's easier to get the spring in position, so the ends are kind of in there, not in line, but in there at both ends. And then what I did was I lined this bolt up in that hole, so it sat all nicely, bolted down these two U-bolts, messed about trying to get that one in, got that one bolted up, and then once that one was bolted up, then I could bolt up this back one. Because what you find at the back is this bit here, this all kind of pivots. So as long as you've got all the middle bolted in the right position, the front bolted in the right position, then what you can do is put the socket on there and just turn that backwards and forwards to get that in line and then push the bolt through. It wasn't that bad, it was just a bit of a faff trying to find out which order to do it all in, so I had to take it on and off a few times. But that's that side in. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get this wheel on. I'm going to go round to the other side. I'm going to do that. We're not going to go through anything on the other side. So what I'll do is I'll see you back in a second when this is literally both sides are done and I've dropped this back down to the floor and we're ready to put the tape measure on it. So I'll see you back in a second when it's done. Right, that's the second one on as well. This one was an absolute pain in the arse as well. It's that front bolt up there. It's a bit of a pain to get lined up again. While I'm under here, I've also put a bit of insulation around these water pipes as well. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that wheel on there, I'm going to tidy up, I'm going to drop the van back down, I'm going to tidy myself up because I'm dirty, and then what we'll do is we'll get the tape measure out and we'll see what sort of difference it's made. I've had a shower and got changed, so I'm feeling much fresher. Let's get a tape measure and have a look at this van. I don't know if you can make out on the camera, but we've still got a slight bit of a wonk leaning over to the left-hand side. The van is a lot higher. And if we have a look round the side, now we can see, look, instead of the arch being sat on the tyre, we have got a decent gap. Right, so let's take the tape measure and give it a quick measure up. Right, last time we did it, it was 380 millimetres. It is now 450. So we have gained 70 millimetres. I really can't complain at all about that. And round the other side, it is 475. So it's still 25mm difference this side to the other side. Right, this height difference, that could be a number of things. Obviously, the first one could be my crappy weight distribution. To be fair, there is quite a lot on this side because we've got the kitchen down that side. I've got the electrics in this corner. And we've got the spare wheel as well on this side. Oh, it's hot in here. I need to get this fan on. Right, so as I said, it could be the weight distribution. The way I can find out if it is or not is to corner weigh the van, and then we can confirm where all the weight is. The other thing it could be is this drive that I'm parked on is slightly wonky. It's not perfectly flat, so it could be that. I'll need to drive the van round and I'll measure it while I'm out as well. Another thing it could be the shocks on the back. One of them could be stiff or something like that, or it could be the suspension on the front, something like that, but we are going to do some more work on the suspension anyway. My guess most likely is that it is weight distribution, but then again it could be something different. We'll find out in later videos. But for now, I'm super pleased with that. We've lifted the back end right up now. I can actually feel the difference just sitting in the van. And I'm sure when I take it for a drive a bit later on, there's going to be actual suspension now as well, which would be a novelty. So as I said, not affiliated or anything like that, but I'll put a link down below to those leaf springs that I bought. Comment below what you thought of the weight of the van. Was it where you was expecting? Is it more? Is it less? Comment below what you think about the weight of the van. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see some more on this channel around this van and around other things as well. I know this van's nearly finished, but we've still got plenty of other things to do on it, like the suspension, for example. And like I said earlier about the roof rack and stuff like that being heavy, eventually I will be swapping things like that out. So don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of that. Like the video if you liked it, and I will catch you again in another video. Cheers! I was right about getting the fan on, look, it's 38 degrees Celsius in here, so it's quite hot.